Factsverse presents 15 Most Amazing Recent Discoveries. We've been living on this planet for millions of years. You'd think that we've discovered just about all there is to be discovered, but we've not even come close. Seems like we're making new discoveries all the time, giving us a glimpse into things of the past that we can look forward to in the future. There are plenty of new discoveries all the time, and we're going to share just a few of them. 15 of the most amazing recent discoveries. First, though, help us spread the word about Factsverse by clicking that like button, and also be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos. Number 1. Bronze Hands. Archaeologists spend their careers digging, hoping to find something amazing. A group of Swiss archaeologists were doing their job when they discovered a bronze hand. They were stumped by their discovery, so they went to the experts all over the world looking to see if any of them knew what it could mean or what it could represent. None of the experts that they called had any answers for them. What they do know is that the hand was carbon dated back to about 2000 BC. The only problem is that nothing like it during that time period has ever been found. The hand is too delicately constructed to have been a prosthetic. They did find a skeleton with the hand and some jewelry, but none of this offered clues to help them solve the mystery. Their best guess so far is that it was a symbolic replacement for the hand that the buried man lost when he was still alive. Number 2. Proof that we don't know as much about the Aborigines as we thought. In the summer of 2017, archaeologists were working in a cave in Barrow Island, Australia, when they discovered something that changes what we know about human habitation in the country. It was believed that the first settlers, the Aborigines, settled in the area over 47,000 years ago, but when they found the remnants of coal, animal remnants, and hunting tools, it set their findings back by at least 18,000 years. The first settlers were accused of running off much of the wildlife they called that home. The archaeologists' find proved animals and humans did live side by side for thousands of years there. Number 3. Nodosaur Fossil. It's not just scientists and archaeologists who make these amazing discoveries. Anybody who spends time digging in the ground could possibly find something. In March 2011, a miner in Alabama made a discovery. As an experienced miner, he had found fossils and other crazy things during his career. He was working one day and he hit the wall. It just didn't feel right. When he looked, he saw what he thought was brown rocks surrounded by discs. But it wasn't a rock at all. It was a dinosaur bone. It wasn't just a typical dinosaur bone either. It was a dinosaur that had not yet been discovered. The fossil he found came from a plant-eating reptile, and its bones had been in the earth for 110 million years. It was called a nodosaur, and it was in pristine condition. Most fossils found are flattened, but with the excellent conditions in the mine, it was almost in its original condition. Number 4. Ancient stones left by the Huns. When you think of stone circles, you likely think of Stonehenge in England, right? Yeah, me too. These rocks have been standing uniformly for thousands of years. Nobody knows how or why they are there. Some think that they're an ancient calendar. Others think the stones are possibly part of a temple. Well, today, Kazakhstan's facing the same questions because they've discovered their own ancient circle of stones. Close to the town of Okto, an amateur archaeologist with a metal detector found a silver saddle in 2010. He alerted professionals and they called in a team of experts. And then during the dig, they found a stone with mysterious pictures, symbols, and other markings. Nobody knows the purpose of the site, but they think it was built by the Huns while they were fleeing the collapse of the Roman Empire. It's believed these stones are over 1,500 years old. Number 5. The world's oldest shipwreck. There are plenty of secrets in the sea. Just takes time to find them. That's the case with an old Greek merchant ship. Experts believe it's been under the water for over 2,400 years. It was found over a mile beneath the surface of the Black Sea, and it is the oldest intact shipwreck ever to be discovered. The Black Sea Maritime Archaeologist Project is the one that found it. Their discovery proved how ancient ships used to be built. It showed how sophisticated the twin rudders, rowing benches, and the mast really were. This ship proved our ancestors were a lot more advanced than we initially thought. Number 6. Ancient bread stove. Everything you know about bread might be wrong. It was believed that bread and beer were invented at the beginning of the agricultural age 10,000 years ago. we know now that bread and beer, they've been around a lot longer than that. In the Black Desert of Jordan, 2 stone fireplaces were discovered. Experts believe that this was a campsite for hunters and gatherers. Researchers studied the contents of the stove and they found traces of a rudimentary bread. Well, since this site dates back at least 14,000 years, it's proof that bread is much older than we once thought, and at this point probably not edible. Another site miles away, researchers found evidence of wheat and barley. This means that people were eating bread and drinking beer thousands of years ago. Number 7. Ninja Oath and other documents. The first rule of being in Ninja Club is you never talk about Ninja Club. Believe it or not, that's what was written in an oath on a document that was discovered, and it's believed to be over 300 years old. Sorry, Brad Pitt, you weren't the first one to use that sentence. The document was found in a group of documents given to a Japanese university in the late 16th century. When the university received the documents, they stored them, but they were never cataloged or studied. It's why it's never been read or translated until now. The oath was signed by a ninja named Asuka Kazu, and in the oath he thanked his trainer for everything he learned, and he promised to never divulge the secrets of being a ninja. The oath said that if he did divulge any secrets, he would suffer retribution from 60 gods for generations. Well, since the documents were just recently found, apparently he kept his promise. The documents are posted online if you want to check them out. Number 8. Celtic Burial. You never know what you might find with a metal detector. Detectorist Mike Smith went out with his metal detector and he changed history. He was out in Wales in 2018 when his detector led him to a Celtic burial chariot. He was an amateur, so he decided he'd better call the experts about his find immediately so he wouldn't accidentally destroy it. The experts told Smith that he was wrong about what he thought he found because as far as they knew, Celtic burials didn't take place in that area. But the experts came to check it out anyway, and they found a full-sized Iron Age settlement that was built underground, full of artifacts. Until this was discovered, it was believed that the Celts occupied Ireland, Scotland, and some of England. And now we know that they spread a lot farther than we thought. Number 9. Lost Trojan City. The year 2018 was a pretty impressive year when it came to amazing discoveries. It was in that year that we discovered the ancient lost Trojan city of Tenea. It was built by prisoners and a relic of the historical Trojan conflict. It started when Helen got into a disagreement with Paris of Troy. A significant amount of Roman coins have been found in the area. Today, it's called Turkey, but this area has an amazing history, and the things that have been found are incredible. Number 10. An older Stonehenge. Looks like Stonehenge has even more competition. About 20 miles away from the famous site of the British Isles, there is another large circle that's just as mysterious, if not as famous. It was first discovered 30 years ago, and it's thought to have been from the same era as Stonehenge. Thanks to recent advances in carbon dating technology, it was found that this discovery was 800 years older than the Stonehenge we know. It's believed the stones dated back to 3300 BC. The remains of the circles are still visible along with much of the thick wood. The wood was set on fire to create a circle. Experts believe the stones and the circle had a ritual use, although nobody knew for sure. Number 11. A new window into ancient China. The Jiakou archaeological site in China has already given us plenty of proof about early human civilization. In 2017, it gave us a lot more information than we already had. The Neolithic site was the hidden home to weaving tools, bone needles, and silk proteins. This is proof that silk production dates back to 8,500 years ago, which is much earlier than we thought. It was assumed that back then clothes were made of flax fibers. We believe that silk weaving began at most 5,000 years ago, but now we know different. This is also the place where the first playable musical instrument was discovered. These discoveries give us a glimpse into a time that we had little information about until now. Number 12. King Bear Skull. The Inuit have been hunting bears since the beginning of civilization. They passed down their traditions and stories from generation to generation. That includes stories and the best way to hunt bears. They use stories and legends to teach one another, and one of those stories is a massive beast called a king bear. It's similar to what we would think Bigfoot looks like. For centuries, this was said to be a legend until recently. Not long ago, a 1,300-year-old bear skull had emerged from the icy ground of Alaska. It was larger than any other bear skull ever found. It's also bigger than any species of bear currently on Earth. It's consistent with what people call king bear. The king bear is said to be 12 feet long, with a narrow body and the ability to move with grace and great speed. Since much of the Arctic has never been explored, there could be more king bears out there. Number 13. The Lost City of Ucetia. Archaeologists have searched for years for ancient Roman cities. We knew that Ucetia existed because it is referred to by name in many ancient Roman texts. For many years, nobody could find any evidence of its existence, though. After an archaeological survey needed to be carried out in southern France before a school could be built on a proposed site, and it was then they found the city. After the find, experts came in to see what else they could find. They found the city was occupied from 100 BC to about 700 AD. They believe that the city was empty from the year 200 to 300, but there is no explanation as to why. Mosaics featuring drawings of animals and other humans is the highlight of the discovery so far. Number 14. The beginning of the number 0. 0 is a number we all seem to take for granted nowadays. We use it as a meaning for nothing. The mathematical reason for the number 0 is one of the greatest math discoveries ever made. I know that sounds strange, but there was a time when the concept of 0 didn't exist. We had to create a symbol to represent nothing, and it changed the way we calculate today. The number 0 was explained much earlier than we thought. Fresh carbon dating of the Indian Bashkali manuscript, which was found in the UK in 1902, it shows that the number 0 dates back to the year 300. That's 500 years earlier than we originally believed. While many civilizations used a mark for nothing, 0 is what we all use today, and that's where it all began. Number 15. The world's earliest known drawing. The oldest drawing ever by a human was found in Blombos Cave in the southern Cape of Africa. It's made up of 3 lines that are crosshatched with 6 separate lines. It's believed to have been drawn 73,000 years ago. The oldest drawing before this discovery was 30,000 years ago. Subscribe for more.